Okay, so the first thing we look at is the basic concept of the 50-50 guard, or why we use it, a couple of the basic controls, some of the common positions that you'll find yourself in. So the basic 50-50 position is it's a leg entanglement. So both my knee and his legs are coming diagonally across and we're caught up in this position here. The reason that I use this is if the person is moving a lot, you know, they're maybe a lot bigger than me, or I need to just tie them up in some way. Because of the positioning of my knee, it's very difficult for Ian to just pressure pass. So if Ian's trying to come on top, yeah, he's coming on top, he's trying to put his weight down into me and like push forwards, anything like this, it's really difficult for him to do because my leg is always on the inside. Okay? So that's one of the nice things. And obviously he can't just be speed passing around because, again, his leg's caught up here. You know, the pressure pass, that's very, very difficult from here, okay? Because of this leg entanglement. But there are a few things, there are a few things that I need to be careful of. Firstly, it's where my leg position is. Okay, if Ian starts to push my foot down here over the top of his knee to here, this is bad. He's just going to be able to turn his foot free, you know, escape his leg and be out of that position. So I need to really be in control. I need to be in control of that knee line. Okay, so I'm going to keep my knee above his knee, okay, and keeping Ian's knee inside this position. Okay, so wherever I'm at, I'm thinking about knee control, like locking this into position. And the other thing is I'm thinking about is stopping his foot coming over to this side. Yes, I can be attacking for a foot lock here, okay, but there's a really strong possibility that as he does this, he's going to step up and then start putting the pressure down, the leg dragging me and smashing my hips. So, I typically control the knee pads here, by the knee, or on top of the knee a lot of the time. Okay, now, the final thing to be aware of is if he starts to kind of attack my feet. Okay, very, very common. He's got like foot locks that he can do on this. Obviously, at a more advanced level, you start attacking with toe holds and knee bars, all kinds of things like that. But most of these attacks are all about controlling his arms. Okay, whenever he goes to go around my ankle, I'll control this and I'll keep control of his wrist. Now it's much, much more difficult for him to attack my feet. Okay? I can be using this other foot. If he does manage to get onto the ankle, I can use my other foot, my heel, to free it up and then start stepping on the bicep, keep myself free. Okay, so these are kind of some of the key important things. I block the knee line, control the knee line, stop his leg coming up. Okay, and then I'm worried and concerned about the feet. I'm always going to go to the sleeve or to his wrist to stop him getting a good grip. Okay, but that's some of the basic 50-50 position and why I love it. Okay, in this section we're going to look at some of the basic entries to the 50-50 position. Okay, now primarily there's three ways that I'm going to do this. The first one, just lay it back here. The first one is I'm going to look just to control his foot and then shoot my legs through and lock up the position. Okay? Often I'll do this if I'm in like a foot lock, for example. I'll be attacking his foot, it's not working. I bring his leg over and then come to the 50-50 here. So it's a very simple way to get into it. It's a nice one to start with. So that's the first way, just shooting my legs through. Okay, the other times that I can do it as well is, again, I'm in the foot lock setup. I'm in the foot lock. Here, I'm working for this. And I shoot my legs through to the opposite side. Okay, bring it down to the ground and then pass over. Okay, so that's kind of the shooting method. The next one is like a spiral method, so where I spin around the leg. Just stand up. The easiest way to look at this one is when I'm here. All I'm going to do, I'm going to use my leg, I'm going to spin the leg through, coming through the back door, and then locking this one up. In a number of different positions I can do that from, but I'm spinning around his leg. Okay? The final way that I do it is if I'm going from a knee bar position. Okay? So if I'm here, I'm trying to knee bar Ian. Okay, what he'll do is he'll turn his knee over this direction, and I can reset to the 50-50, or he can turn it the other direction, and we end up in the 50-50 over here. Okay, so yeah, if I'm attacking this knee bar, okay, and he looks to start turning his hip, then I'm going to be in the 50-50 again. Okay. So that's really the three ways that I look at setting up the 50-50. It's either where I'm shooting my legs through, I'm passing the leg over the top, or I'm looking at spinning inside and setting up a 50-50, or swinging to the outside. Or I'm going off the knee bar here, the knee defends, and I end up in the 50-50. Okay. We're going to look at each of those different variations in more depth, but that's the overriding principle that you can apply to lots and lots of different attacks. Okay, so what we're going to talk about now are some of the basic concepts for passing the 50-50 guard. If Ian's on his back and I'm in the 50-50 position, okay, we set up our regular position. There's two ways that I'm going to try and do this. Okay, normally, a lot of the times I'll do this from standing. Yeah, so a lot of the time I'll try and do this from standing. What I'm going to look to do is kind of like maybe separate out his legs as best as I can, and then look at some way to remove this leg from inside. That could be like I'm pushing down, stepping over the leg. It could just be something like maybe stepping my foot free. You know, there's a lot of different ways of doing it. So this is one of the main ways that we do it. Here, you know, I set up the position, I look at some way of separating his leg, where it's either pushing it through or making him decide to open, like pushing his leg down. These are going to help me out a lot. Okay, the other way that I look to pass the 50-50 is by taking my leg over the top. Okay, so I set myself into like a leg drag position here. So I'm here like this. Okay, so I'm taking my leg from this side to this side, and from there I can just start smashing the hips down and pass the 50-50 again. Okay, so even if I'm stood up, a lot of the time if he's not controlling my leg, I can just take my leg past, smash down, and then control. And all I have to do now is apply the pressure to drive against that top leg, and then I can be passing. Okay, so really that's the two kind of basic ways. I'm either going to open his legs in some way, step my foot out, or I try to switch to the leg drag position and then smash on him and put the pressure down. Okay, so in this section, what we're going to look at is some of the basic sweeps to go from the bottom to the top, start attacking our partner. The first one is probably the most basic sweep that we're going to utilize. It's just knocking your partner down. Okay, so when I'm in 50-50, I'm in 50-50, I've locked up the position. The first thing that I do, control his knee always, and I lock this up. Okay, now I want to make sure that I'm in good, strong position. I'm using my foot to hook on his back, so it's hard for him. The first thing I do is I turn my hips towards him, push him in, and then I turn them back, dropping him down towards the ground. I slam my feet, pinch my knees, hop up. Okay, so I'm here. Now this position, because of my weight being so far forward, much more difficult for Ian to sweep me back straight away. So is that up me? So again, I'm in the 50-50 position. In 50-50 position, I'm locked up. He's stood up tall, I grip the knee. First thing, turn in, to get him to step, put his weight out, and I slam my hips back down to the ground. Okay, facing forwards here. So I'm using my foot against his hip, keeping my head heavy, and now if Ian tries to push me back on the ground, it's going to be way, way more difficult. Okay, one more time. Other side. We're here in the 50-50 position. Okay, I'm controlling his knee. Either here, or I can just come on top, is fine. I throw my hips into him first. Now I bring them back, knocking him down towards the ground. Bring my hips forwards, standing up. Okay, sometimes this isn't necessarily enough to get the sweep. So what I like to do is I'm going to use this lapel. I'm going to wrap this lapel around my leg, underneath, and I'm now in like a footlock position. Okay, so you see the lapel has come from here. It's going to go over the top. We'll lock this one down. Okay, now stand up. He's doing the same thing. Okay, I'm going to reach my hips forwards, and I bring them back, using the lapel to start to sweep as well. Here, okay, I'm trying to sweep, it's not working. I take this lapel, wrap it around, so it's over my leg. My hand's coming through like a footlock position, lock it up. Okay? Same thing, throw my hips in, throw my hips back, okay, standing up into the sweep. Sometimes this sweep he'll be on just on a knee, as opposed to being fully stood up, and it's because he's based on his knees, it can be more difficult to turn his hips over. Okay, he's going to have a little bit more strength. So, when I go here and I'm in this position, it's virtually the same sweep. I control. Okay, this time I'm going to shoot my hips around, and I place my foot against his knee on the back side. Okay, now I slam my hips over, and bring it down to the ground. This is a very strong sweep. So here,
trying to do the sweep, it's not working. I turn my hips, place my foot against his knee. So here, turn my hips, push against his knee. So now I stretch him out, you almost instantly fall back down. So here, push against his knee, stretching his hip out. So he's really in a compromised position. Okay, and then I can just slam my hips forwards, stand up, keep strong. Okay, I can do this as well if I've got this lapel wrap position. Same thing, I can wrap this around his knee joint. Okay, this is nice because it frees up his leg a little bit. Okay, and I can step, push. Same thing, I slam against his knee, bring him down to the ground. Okay, so one more time. Here, lock, turn my hips, push against, bring down to the ground. So our first simple sweep. Okay, so the next sweep in this series, this comes when, it often happens on 50-50 sweeps, you try to sweep them, and then as you're putting them down, they start to come back up. You end up in this weird kind of leg entanglement position. So, typical thing that happens, I'm here, setting up my 50-50, I sweep him, using any of the sweeps we've done so far, I end up here. Now, as I'm coming over, he's turning his hips, and it becomes this race to come on top. He's going to try to set himself out, I'm going to try and do the same. But if I beat him on top, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push in towards him. So from here, I push him a little bit, then as I feel he pushes back, I just take my leg off, and I lock into the leg drag, or into the body lock position, and bring him down to the ground. Okay, so I'm using kind of his energy against him. I beat him, I stand up, rush towards him so I get him to push back, because he has to push back, otherwise he's going to hit the ground. Then that gives me the opportunity to free up my leg. So, I'm here, okay, I'm knocking him down. Now as we're coming, he turns his hips, tries to beat me up. Yeah, end up here. So what I do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slam, start hopping towards him, and the moment I feel him push, I wrap up his leg. Now I'm hugging and bring him back down to the leg drag and start pushing. This will work even if he's like hugging my foot. So we're in this classic 50-50 position and sweep. Now he's like going for the foot lock as well. Yeah. And we end up here. This is really fun. So you're standing up, standing up, standing up, standing up. Okay, and then I go push. As I feel him push back, I rip my leg out. Okay, now I'm in this kind of leg drag. I can strip him, bring him down to the ground, finish. Okay, one more time. Here. In the 50-50, and bring him down, sweep. Trying to get on top, he's trying to get up as well. I push in, pull back. Okay, and I just look his foot, bring him down to the ground, finishing the leg. Okay, it's the basic way that we're going to free that up and get out of that entanglement. Okay, this next attack in the sequence is when I can't put them down, like I feel like they're basing out too much, but they're giving me the space underneath them to start taking them back. Okay, so I'm going to be in the 50-50 position again. We're here like so. Okay, experiment with it. Here. Okay, now I'm trying to do the first sweep that we're talking about. I'm trying to knock him down. It's not working for whatever reason. Yeah, normally they'll get this stepping movement. So what I'm going to do is I want to use my feet, my legs to pull him in and sit up and catch the key pants here. So I'm making sure that I'm not around my legs, outside my legs. I open for a second, lock this one up, grab his knee pants. Now my foot is going to circle there behind his knee, and I shoot my other leg out towards this baby bowler position. Yeah, I've still got control of his knee pants, and now all I do is sit him down, extend the play, look to take his back from there. So, same situation, we're in the 50-50. Okay, I'm here, trying to knock him off balance, he steps. Okay, I push away, pull him in, using my leg, sit up, catch his knee pants. Okay, now I pull behind, and I drop in. Okay, making sure that both of my knees are on the outside, so he's kind of sat on my foot. Okay, from there, I just pull his hips down, extend away, finish, hugging up very low. Again, 50-50, here. Okay, trying to sweep, it's not working. bring them in, sit up and catch his knee pads. Circle my foot inside, put my knee through here. Okay, same thing. I like to grab the gi pads here. This gives me good control if he starts to spiral or anything like that. I extend the leg. Now I can let go, lock up the seatbelt, pinch my knees, take his back. Okay. So again, we're trying for the first sweep. I'm going here, trying to knock him on balance. It's not working. Okay, no problem. Okay, I pull him in, pull myself up, catch his gi pads. Okay, belt's fine to circle my foot free, push through here, extend away, setting him up, close the seatbelt, or then I can start tackling it straight away. One more time, full speed. 50. That's the final one in that sequence. Okay, the final one in the sequence is, again, I'm in exactly the same position, just basic controls. He starts to step towards me, and I'm going to have to readjust the attack. So, here, okay, look, I'm locking up position here, but now Ian's stepping around this way. Very, very common, trying to put pressure on him. So, I take my hand, I'm going to underhook his leg here. Then, I'm going to drop my hips inside. So, I come around this way. Okay, so I'm kind of collapsing underneath him. You'll see that this foot is no longer as high, it's kind of almost behind his knee, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, I can hug this to me and I extend my legs over to sweep him to the ground. From here, I can just base out. Sometimes I can circle and just step my foot out. Okay, or I can use this supporting leg to create pressure behind and then step my leg out. Okay? So again, we're working the 50-50. Okay, we're trying for our basic attacks, he steps forwards. I go, okay, no problem. I underhook his leg. Yeah, can you just push up? And as I underhook his leg, I drop this one down. Yes, it's right behind his knee. Now from there, this could be almost like still locked, so I can step against it. I just use that to extend away and sit up. Okay, rock over to my side. I can just free this up, face out, come up. Or if I feel I need some more pressure, more space, I hook behind his leg and then come out. Okay, so we're 50-50. Okay, Ian steps towards me. I underhook, drop, launch him over. Coming up here. Step my leg out, like I can already be passing. Time for speed. Here, 50-50 position, he steps towards me. Okay, I underhook, drop, extend out. Place my leg free. Okay, so let me just show you that last bit of the movement of the hips again. So I'm here, I'm hugging his leg. All I do is I lean my way back and away, free up my leg, and I can start standing. And I'm into a good passing position. Last time. 50-50 position. Here, Ian steps towards me, gives me this angle, spin underneath, extend him over, pass my leg through, start passing from a nice, strong pressure pass position. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of different passes for the 50-50 position now. These are very, very simple, but very, very high percentage. Okay, the first one, Tanquinho did this in the Abu Dhabi Pro, used it very effectively quite a few times. So, if I'm in the seated 50-50 position, or let's switch sides. If I'm in the seated 50-50 position here, I want to stand up, I want to build some base. The way that I'm going to do that is hug his leg, I'm going to go chest down, and then the first thing, I really need to make sure that I'm also controlling this back leg. If I just try to stand up here, Ian's just going to hook inside, and then he's going to start looking and going towards my back. We already did this earlier. Okay, so before I look to stand up, it's not just about controlling this leg, I want to control this one as well. And I can make this kind of pocket grip on the inside of his leg. Okay, this is going to give you some control. So I'm here. Okay, now, the first thing that I do is I build some base. Okay, so I get my leg back. Okay, I'm always thinking, if he tries to hook my leg, I need to be defending. Okay, once I've built my base, I'm using my leg against the side to keep strong, make sure he can't get underhook or anything like that. So I can now start to stand. Okay, from here, I use this elbow to open the 50-50. So he's got the legs crossed. Here, I gripped inside. I use my elbow on the inside, open. Okay, now, obviously this could be a bit of a fight, but it's good. The next thing is I'm going to stand up tall and start to pop his foot off. But it's not good enough just popping it forwards. I now need to grab his toes and I'm going to open his foot. I'm kind of like twisting it as much as I can. So I twist it, push it down towards the ground. That makes it weak. I can then step over and drop into this kneel belly position. Okay, so again, we've got 50-50. First thing, I'm standing up. I need to be thinking about that back leg. So I can take my time, just getting a good grip on the inside of his knee. This is going to work really, really well. And now create a strong base, keeping my weight forwards, not letting me sweep me back. Foot's into the side, driving forwards, face out, face out, face out, stand up tall. Use my elbow to open, here. Keep standing up, pushing my hip forwards. As soon as I see his toes, I'm going to grip, open them. Like I'm turning and pulling his foot down. Makes it harder. Push this knee towards the ground, so it's at an awkward angle. Step over the top, close the space down. I like to kind of push this leg away, so his hips are facing away from me. Okay. Yeah. We're in that 50-50 position. Okay, first thing, I go to the knee. Okay, control by the knee, take the time to set this and get this grip strong. Okay, I'm keeping my weight forwards. Okay, first thing, pop up to the knee. Drive my foot into his side, start standing up. Open, hips forwards, open his toes, push down, step out, and pass around. Okay? It's the first way that we start to pass the 50. Okay, the next pass that we're going to look at is a very simple way to get the leg drag. Okay? Again, it's works in the same principle. I'm going to be using standing up because it gives me good pressure. Makes it a little bit harder for him to stay on. But this time, before I stand up, what I'm going to do is take my arm and I go underneath both of his feet. Okay, so I'm kind of like locking him in here. I can grab the thigh works fine, I can grab his knee pants, whatever it is, I'm just locking into this position. I do the same thing, now I start to stand up, create a good base. Now from here, what I'm going to look at doing is kind of throwing his chest forwards a little bit more. This allows me, when I throw my chest forwards, it allows me then to grab his knee pads. Okay, so I'm just underneath his butt. From here, what I'm going to do is posture up, grab his knee pads again, and start to push this down. Okay, so I'm trying to push his legs lower than my knee. Okay, as we talked about at the start, this is one of the things that you don't want to happen. Okay. From there, look, I step my foot behind his knee, and step the other one out, and then drop into the leg drag position. Almost straight away. Okay, so I can just start to we're in 50-50. First thing, this arm goes underneath both legs, just on top of his thigh, and I control. Bring my hips over, look to start to stand here. So I'm standing, and I throw my chest forwards, put it lower on his knee pads. Okay, so I'm in a nice little position. This hand, I can reach over the head, grab the knee pads, push down. Here, weakens it. Okay, now, the other leg is going to step behind his knees. The other leg is going to step behind his knee. Trap surface here, and just switch it back. From there, look, step out, pull the leg towards the hip, legs out to the leg drag. Okay, all the way through. Here, go underneath both legs, build my base, stand up, chest forwards with a lock, go to the foot. Push this down, here, step behind, step out, go to the leg drag. Okay, very nice simple pass, works very, very well, takes away a lot of their attacking options. Okay, the next pass that we're going to look at, this comes from, I saw actually Giant Grupo use this in the, I think it was the Europeans or something. It's a really nice way just to set up the leg drag again from the 50-50. Okay, so we're here, I'm building my base, this time I'm going to do this when I'm kind of stood up or in a bit of a scramble. Okay, I can control his knee pads, but what I'm looking at doing really is I'm taking this arm and reaching through to his collar. So I've got underneath my own leg, okay, to grab his collar. Now I can grab his knee pads, start to stack him, step over. And I drop into that leg drag position here. Closing the space, same thing as we did before, pressure the hips. Open the legs, drop back, start to pass around. So I'm here, build my base, doing all the stuff that we talked about before, kind of turning towards him. Now look, I reach through that gap under my leg. Okay, and I'm going to grip the knee pads on to the side. I step over his body, so when I go here, I step over his body, roll, now sprawl heavy. Lock up the position, heavy hip, step out, and then switch side. Yeah, come on, this way. We do the same thing. So we're here. Okay, I'm building my base, standing up. Okay, make sure Gordon kind of be facing towards his legs a little bit. I reach inside, grab his lapel. Okay? You can grab here if you have the balance to free up the leg, or post out the hand, step over, then go back to the hips, sprawl it out, and lock. Climb up, cross face strong, splitting the legs, here. Switch side, around. Okay? Very nice way just to start breaking the 50-50. Okay, so now we're going to look at one way to counter one of the sweeps that's very, very common when you're trying to pass the 50-50 guard. So let's say I'm in the 50-50 guard again. Okay, we've set this up, and now we're doing the same things we talked about before. I'm trying to control this leg, shift my hip over, build a strong base, and then stand up from here. Okay, one of the common things that happens as soon as I get up is they strip this grip and they try to feed it in behind. And now from here they can look at taking my back, all kinds of things that I really don't want to have happen. So the way that I deal with this is, it's no good me just sitting down because he still can take my back. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this free leg here, post out on my hand or on my fist, whichever one you find more comfortable, and now I hook my foot inside. Okay? Now this is going to give me some counter pressure that I can step my leg up and over the top, and I can start switching to either a leg drag or just be free of the position. Okay? So again, if we do this side, I'm in the 50-50 position here, trying to stand, I build a strong base, start to come up, he kicks, shoots through. Okay? I have to react immediately. Control his knee, shoot my foot inside, step out here, and then build my base, come back up, and I can start passing. Okay, kind of bring it this way. So from the reverse angle, it's the same thing. I'm here in 50-50, I'm standing up, I'm trying my best to control. He managed to free up that grip here. Okay, this is no good for me. Keep control of his knee, base out, hook goes in first. Okay, so now just balancing on the foot. This is allows me to create the pressure. I can step out over the top, drag through, and pass. Okay, so in kind of a full speed type movement, it will look something along like this. It's how we're going to defend the back.